The Alex and Sofia breakup, probably one of the biggest stories of 2020.
That was nuts.
Just an absolute bombshell. Created content for all of the platforms across the web. You were talking about it. Alex was talking about it. The whole internet was talking about it. The podcast world was talking about it. Do you think Logan Paul was partially to blame for the Sofia-Alex breakup?
I think he put ideas in their head when they came here, like, hey, you guys are being underpaid. I think that is when a lot of it started, because I fucking yelled at them right after. The way they conducted themselves on the interview, some of their answers.
During the time when we were getting all of the input and feedback that we were getting exploited, you girls are getting exploited, you're getting exploited, I kind of talked about it in my YouTube video.
Like at this time, Peter wasn't the only one telling us like, hey, you're getting really exploited by Barstool. And so when you're hearing from certain people that you're getting fucked, and then you're hearing from people that shove their credentials in your face 24/7, like Harvard, HBO, and you girls are making less than industry standard. You start to be like, okay, we need to look at this like anyone would. Like, okay, what the fuck then? What is industry standard and what should we be making?
We made these comments as kind of like a fuck you guys, like fuck Barstool, hello, like why don't wake up, like everyone's telling us we don't make enough fucking money, why the fuck aren't you guys paying us? And we were like angry.
At this point, as much as I wanted Sofia to be a part of this journey with me and to continue and to take this deal with me, when I got this document, this was the exact moment I vividly remember making the decision to pick up the phone and call Dave Portnoy.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Call Her Daddy. It is your now single father, Alex Cooper, back at it again.
Sofia was just a phase.
I wonder how she's enjoying unemployment.
What is she doing now?
Snake.
She got greedy.
She didn't even tell us her side.
She ruined her career.
Her career is done.
Losing clout daily.
She did this over a guy?
Hey, bitch. You're still canceled.
So what I'm getting is you guys want to hear more from me. I'm back and I have a brand new podcast. It's called Sofia with an S.
It's going to be huge. I mean, I want podcasts. Everyone's going to want to hear what she has to say.
I know.
Now, do you think Alex has indicated any worries? Has she said something to you?
I think Alex is very curious what will be said.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I knew before she did. I'm like, you see Sofia? She's like, what are you talking about? And I sent her, she's like, oh, here we go. But who knows?
I'm going to talk directly to you, Alex. You were my best friend. You knew what I went through with depression. You knew what I went through with mental health, and you enabled an enormous media conglomerate to completely destroy my life. In fact, you participated in it. You profited from it. For someone who advocates for therapy, your mother who is referenced endlessly, a licensed therapist, you still had the audacity to enable an entire hate campaign towards someone who has helped you in your lowest moments. If the roles are reversed, and I have thought about this a million times, I could have never done that to you. Ever. I just want everyone to know this because you have been lied to. Even after everything, I still tried to make things work. I reached out to you numerous times to salvage what we had, and you left me on red. May 20th, 12/11, red. May 25th, 11:58, red. It was never about the money. It was never about the deal points. It was never about the IP. It was about who you are as a human being. You wanted the spotlight. This isn't even the first time you tried to get me kicked off the show, and you know what I'm talking about. I know exactly at what point we stopped being friends. In fact, I can tell you the exact date and time. This is the last conversation we ever had, and I'm going to read it to you word for word.
The last back and forth big communication that Sofia and I had with each other was fucking awful. She said some things to me that I can't imagine ever saying to a friend. And I think, you know, you're best friends with someone and this shit happened so fucking quickly. You don't expect it to go down like this.
April 30th, 10:29 a.m. You lied relentlessly for 14 months about a side deal you did behind my back with Barstool to me and others, including our own shared attorney. This is exactly the type of behavior that has cost you your best friends one after the other over the years. You will probably be too defensive to hear this, but I am going to say it anyway. I add more value through my creativity than all of your editing hours combined. My value is more than 50%. Your skills are menial, mine are intangible. Your humor is written by others you betray, like your supposed former best friend MILF Hunter. My humor is my own. To say you do more than me is a fucking joke, and that you are so insecure about your talent that you want to measure yourself in editing hours and social media posts would be laughable if I didn't find it so pathetic. I don't care about the money, I care about the lying, and that's where you and I differ.
I took notes from this call we had on May 6th, and I just want to read you guys these notes because it was a 2-hour phone call, and I don't think that I should sit here and explain the entire phone call, but May 6th. Sophia began the call by telling me she felt I was bulldozing her into the Barstool deal. Sophia told me that she went into the rooftop meeting with Dave as more of a courtesy and to let Dave know that we were leaving and wanted to see if he would give us the IP to take with us. So like she was like, give us the IP and then maybe we can find a way to like link you into it, but like we're gonna go, so like hand us the IP. And she told me that, Alex, it feels like you went into the meeting with a different idea. And I said, yes, Sophia, I did go into the meeting with a different idea. I went in with an open mind to hear Dave's opinion and I ended up hearing him. This is something Sophia said to me on the call, and here we go. Sophia said, Alex, I hate this deal. What it comes down to is you don't want to leave, and I don't want to stay. And I said, yes, that is what it's coming down to. So I asked Sophia, what is there, Sophia, to hate about this Barstool deal? Why are you so willing to abandon the Call Her Daddy brand to go start something new? And Sophia said, the IP, it is the most important thing, but it's not as important to me as it is to you, Alex. I get you think the IP is the end all be all, but I feel differently about that. So guys, to confirm, the IP, that is Call Her Daddy. Like, if we leave, there's no more Call Her Daddy. We can't refer to you guys as Daddy Gang anymore. There's no I'm unwell. There's no Gluck Gluck. There's no Degrade Me. There's no Little Bitch Boys. Like nothing. It's dead, and we have to go come up with an entire new show. We can't use any of those terms. So on that call, essentially, as you can hear, we agreed that we valued the brand in a very different way.
Now, to everyone listening, I want to ask you a question, and let's really put our thinking caps on. If a man walked into his boss's office requesting to be fairly compensated, would he be labeled as greedy? Really chew on that for a second. No, he wouldn't. He would be labeled as a knowledgeable businessman, not a greedy, ungrateful bitch.
I love to be dragged back into it, to be honest.
And everyone's hitting me up because Sofia with an F launched her podcast. I said I won't talk about it. I said ignore it. Just let it be. Launched #1 on iTunes, which I expected. Obviously, everyone wants to hear her side of the story. But too many quotes being sent to me and this and that. I just can't keep my mouth shut. Now, most of it was, I guess she's going at Alex. And they got their due to do. I'm not going to talk about that. But the thing that still astounds me about Sofia is I don't think she's taken an ounce of responsibility for anything that happened. Everything is everybody else's fault. She's the poor little victim. And she tried to make this like a male-female issue, like women's rights. Like, hey, if a woman, why is it when a woman goes ask for a raise, she's greedy, but when a man does it, that's good business? Like, what are you talking about? People come into my office every day asking for raises. The way that Alex and Sofia handled it, which was stop talking to me, went silent, stopped doing their job, stopped coming to work, started lying about what the situation was, saying they were broke, comparing themselves to Kesha, having all these ridiculous demands. That's what they did. No, that's not male-female. In 17 years, nobody's ever acted like that. And to Alex's credit, she put her hand up like, yeah, we were scumbags. We were going to lie, cheat, steal our way out of the contract because Superman wanted to rep them. So let's not twist the facts. This wasn't male-female. You guys acted like petulant little children. Own up to it. As far as the other part, like, again, the industry standard with Superman, like, oh, we're making $10 million and only getting paid like 2 cents. First of all, I don't know where she got those numbers. Second of all, if somebody came to Barstool, it's like, hey, we have this podcast. We don't want Barstool to own it. We still want to keep the IP, but we want Barstool to promote it as though they own it. Put all your muscle, all your marketing behind it for a year or 2 years. That's what they wanted. That would cost like, I don't know, 10 to 20 million a year. We're a big fucking company to put all that weight behind something and blow it up. Well, that's what we did for Call Her Daddy. And then Sofia seems to think, once we start making money, they should get it all. It's like insane. You had a 3-year contract, Sofia. I was willing to cut it to like 2. I was willing to give you the IP. You could have made millions when you were done. You got fucking greedy. Plain and simple. Superman fucked you over. How come you're not mentioning it? How come you never mentioned the fact that Superman was pulling the strings? That's it. Like, we want a good podcast. We want a real podcast that has staying power. What it should be is 3 imbeciles and Dave. Sofia with an F, Superman, and fucking the MILF Hunter. The 3 of them versus me. And they can come up with their conspiracy theories and cry about how unfair life is and say what went wrong. They give it to me. I spit it back in their face in 5 seconds. I take Superman, his Ivy League degree, his Ivy League words, his philosophers Galileo and Aristotle, and I fucking shove it down that Ivy League throat. Because I'm always right. I don't need 6 months to craft a story and write my response. I do it off the top in 5 seconds because the truth is on my side. Sofia with an F, I hope you're successful. I really don't give a fuck. It doesn't affect me. But don't play the victim card. I mean, that's just fucking lies. Oh, because you're a woman? No. You acted like a fucking scumbag and you got your life run by a man who's a fucking loser.